Hello everybody, this is Ludicolo15 and welcome back to another part of Let's Play Pokemon HeartGold. Last time we finished up the Pokeathlon, and today we're going to be taking a look once again back at the Safari Zone. So if you remember what I said about the Safari Zone is that once you've obtained the Natural Dex, and I think 3 hours pass later on, I forget, but I know it's after you complete the second test with the Sandshrew at least. 3 hours later, he will give you another thing you could do with the Safari Zone, and that is objects. Now, I should mention right now, I actually talked to him earlier just to test out if these objects are like usable now, and they are. Just once you get the call and then go to him. So if we talk to him now, he would just tell you the fact that you can now place objects. But let's go see what these objects do. These objects you can place anywhere you walk into the Safari Zone, except on stairs and grass where Pokemon appear. You also want to remember that you can place up to 30 objects in one area. I'm not going to talk about the rest of these, but just note that you can now put objects on each area you want, and I also plan ahead of time to swap the area, customize the area. So right now, once I go in, I'm going to be in Plains immediately, and I want to be on Plains immediately for one reason, and you'll see why. I guess anyway. But I'm going to be showing off blocks basically, so I guess we'll just go ahead and play the Safari Zone game already. This might be a long episode because I have a lot of Pokemon to go over in this episode, and I want to get these done. So we're going to demonstrate how these objects work, and it's a bit weird because I'm just going to say it. The Safari Zone is, like, the Safari Zone in this game specifically, it could be either the best Safari Zone, which in terms of, like, being able to custom at finding Pokemon you want, I guess so, but some of these Pokemon are so annoyingly bad to obtain that this could be the worst Safari Zone. I don't know, man, but I don't even think this is the worst Safari Zone. I actually like it. It's just there are some complaints I have, but before we couldn't place objects because we didn't have any. Now all we gotta do to place objects is, well, press A. You have up to 30 objects you can place, and every Pokemon you can encounter, they don't take more than 30 objects to being able to encounter. And before I go over every Pokemon, which is going to be like basically the end of this episode, then I'm just going to move on now. So you have all these objects you can place down. Some objects cannot be placed on these lands, if I'm correct. But on most of the other objects you can. You can place up to 30, and there's no amount of things you can't have. Like, you can. Some of these are also sizes, so you have to figure out where to place these. But it doesn't really matter where you put them. Some Pokemon will appear just based on how many of these you have. For example, I'm going to show you guys a Pokemon I want to encounter by putting down water objects. Every object can be placed as categorized as different objects. Like the puddle, water hole, and fountain are all classified as, water. And just for demonstration purpose, I'm going to put water objects. I'm going to put 12. You'll see why. Just to show off that Pokemon do appear based on these objects. You can get rid of objects too by just clicking on it again and then just take it off like this. Remove puddle, and then yeah, that's all it is really. If you're looking for specific Pokemon, which Cerebi and Bulbapedia are good for telling you like how to get these Pokemon, I'm only here to talk about what Pokemon you can find, not how to get them, because it's a long list, because we have a lot of Pokemon to go over today, and I'm trying to finish this as fast as possible. But really, the Safari Zone doesn't really change much. Now we have objects, and no, it does change in terms of what Pokemon you can find. And on another note, they are really high level. So if you want to just get high level Pokemon without training them much, this is a good place to catch these guys. Although some are stupidly annoying to attain. I can't wait to get some of them. I actually forgot how many I have right now. I have 12, 8, 10. Alright, I need 2 more. Alright, 4, 8. Yeah, I need 2 more. Doesn't matter where you put these objects, as long as you have up to 30 in each area. And then you can... Baoba will call you another 3 hours later to get more objects if you want to get more, if I'm correct, each time, so you can get the max. Hold up. Excuse me, it's a pretty rough morning today. 4, 8... Yeah, it's 12. So now that we have 12 water objects, a certain Pokemon will appear. Just so I can demonstrate that this works. Wow, first try. Anyways, yes, Lotad appears with 12 water objects, for example. I'm gonna catch one, obviously, because it's my favorite line, obviously. Like, it's my evolution is a mascot. And it's not hard to catch a Lotad. I'll even get it right here. See? Easy. Easy. Please have a modest nature. These objects, and let me go a bit more further into these objects. I'll go over Lotad in a bit with the rest of the, well, Pokemon. Oh, it's a female! I can't nickname the Pokemon I wanted! Man, do I want to nickname after myself? No. Now, these objects, now that we've gone over that, and that proves that these Pokemon are higher level, then you can just, you're on your own to figure out what Pokemon you want. But there are tons of good Pokemon you can get here, but also some not so good ones. And some Pokemon that are higher level than normal. But anyways, these objects will stay once you leave the Safari Zone, if I'm correct. And they level up. What I mean by some of these Pokemon's like value gets leveled up based on how many days pass. For example, some peak objects can like level up, increase its level to like double itself. Let's say there's a Pokemon you need 24 of a certain object, and then if a couple days pass, like 10 to 50 days, then their value, those objects will be valued to double, and then the Pokemon that would normally need 24 objects will now require 12. It's really long though, that's the thing. Some Pokemon that you want to find will take unnecessarily long time, and it's really stupid because there are better ways to obtain these Pokemon or just outright transfer them. But if you're just like me who has this version only, playing emulator, that's the only way to get them. With that being said, I think we can just leave right now. And then that'll just prove that, well, we got ourselves we need. So I spent $500 just to put down objects and get a Lotad. So, no, you don't say anything else. So I thought you said something new after I tried it out. And unless I'm mistaken, there's a PC. No, there isn't. That's it for the Safari Zone objects, really. I don't really want to show off anything else, but you can, that's all it is. Just you're able to place objects, and there are tons of Pokemon you can find based on how many objects you put. Some Pokemon will require exactly 30 in different, and some Pokemon will require more than just one object, but they never go over 30 if I'm correct. I'm really hoping I'm right with this. Before we go over the bios, let's check our Lotad nature because I just love to know. Naive and Rain Dish. I think Naive is bad. Yeah, that is bad. Wow, I am just getting the worst natures in the world. This is just sad. Well, I guess that's it for the Safari Zone, really. There's really not much to say except the new encounters. Because we have a lot of Pokemon to go over. And there would be more if I didn't go over some of these in Kanto. Because some of these Pokemon you can find higher leveled and at lower level than Kanto and higher leveled here. And they are or may not be worth it. Like I said, it depends on how many days it takes to me is what will change the value of some of these Pokemon. But with that being said, I think I can finally bring out our bio weapon. Because we have, I kid you not, 48 new Pokemon we're going to go over. Some of these are evolutions of others that you can already find. But just so you know, these are all the Pokemon that are new you can find. And let me just say, some of these guys are a bit unnecessary. That being said, let's get started without further ado. Electrike is the first of the guys we're going to go over. One of the few Hoenn electric types out there. I basically call an electric type Houndoom with solid offense and speed, but it can't take hits and both abilities are not great. Its other big issue is how it takes very little advantage of its special attack. Other than electric moves, the best you can do are Flamethrower and Hidden Power. Manectric is also found here. It's your decision on what you want to catch. Solid Pokemon, but lacks variety, in my opinion. Next up, speaking of Houndoom, it's here too. Don't want to grind a Houndour to the late 40s? Or don't want to catch a Houndour here for no reason? Then catch it here if you want. Will learn Flamethrower soon. Solid offenses, but can't take many hits. Also get Flash Fire for her ability because really, that's the better one. That's all. Now for the silly Zangoose. just a solid physical attacker. Gets Sword Dance, gets a ton of physical attacks, most notably bug and fighting type moves it can use well, and it learns a ton of TM attacks that won't get to take advantage of since most of them are special attacks. It's pretty good and definitely unique compared to most normal types. Now, Lotad, my boy I just caught, or girl. First thing first, I suggest evolving Lotad itself at level 45 to get Energy Ball. Lombre also gets Hydro Pump at level 45. You all know I love Ludicolo. Its typing is very unique. Quad resists water, resists ground, not weak to fire, grass, electric, or ice, and only weak to flying, poison, and bug. Solid stats overall, and can work on rain teams. Oh, and Lombre's here too, but I wouldn't get it since Lotad gets Energy Ball. Oddly enough, Ludicolo is one of the few grass types to learn fire type move, or a fire type move, in this case Fire Punch. Surge-Gate, it sucks. Yeah, its move pool isn't the worst, but its stats are absolute garbage. Cool type indeed, but then it loses it to another generic bug flying type wasn't evolved. Speaking of which, Masquerain can be found too. Air Slash and Bug Buzz leveling up and Intimidate are solid positives, but once again, its stats completely ruin this Pokemon. Tons of bug flying types outclass it, and this Pokemon falls in Delcatty and Ledian tier bad. Like, it's so bad. I'm not even kidding. Let's turn over to a new Nuzleaf now. Don't want to worry Seed out to high levels? Here's Nuzleaf. Could be a good mixed attacker with Nasty Plot and or Swords Dance in the Sun, but suffers from an awful type defensively. Lee Storm is obtainable once evolved level 49. Go for it if you want. Nose Pass or Play. Not worse than it is in this game. It's a tank, but pure rock isn't great defensively, and its offenses are bad. It can learn at least set up Stealth Rock and maybe get off a Thunder Wave. If Sturdy was buffed, then maybe it would be useful. But the real reason it's not worth it is because of, one, it's one of a few Pokemon that appears after a certain amount of days have passed, in this case 30 days after setting its objects it needs to appear. But it can't even evolve in this game too. You have to trade it to Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, level it up once a Mount Coronet to evolve, and then trade it back here if you want to use a Probopass in HeartGold Soul Silver. Who, by the way, is even worse at tanking thanks to its type. I honestly don't recommend this Pokemon, but you could still do worse. Trust me. We have another Rock Steel to go over soon, but it's definitely better than Probopass. Anyway, Probopass is bad, in my opinion. The Aura is now with Riolu. We all know Lucario. Incredible mixed attacking stats, huge move pool, and will wreck opponents' teams if it gets to set up with Swords Dance and Extreme Speed to go pack a punch. Its Steel typing is kinda redundant since it's always gonna use fighting type moves in battles, but we can take some resistances with it. Its abilities are kinda lame though, but it's good enough so that you can ignore its slight negative. The issue, however, is that Riolu appears 70 days, that's right, 70 days after setting the objects. If you can wait 2 real months just for it to appear, then you will get your Riolu. I hate how they make these strong Pokemon attainable in this game, but make it take unnecessarily long time to get it. While in the other Gen 4 games, Diamond and Pearl Platinum, it takes little time to obtain some of these Pokemon. Like Riolu, you can get in the egg after conquering Iron Island. I don't know if I get it, honestly, just because 2 months is that long. Errors 404, Luxio not found. Don't want to wait until Thursday for Shinx to appear on some routes? Luxio's here. Everything said before applies. Takes 1 level to evolve into Luxray. Intimidate is good, but it takes little advantage of its physical attack. Now we need something to ride on. I guess Rhydon will do. Didn't want Rhyhorn in Victory Road? Here's Rhydon. Powerful stats right out of the gate, not too long until it gets Stone Edge and Earthquake, and having Rockhead will get you Solid Rock once evolved. Speaking of which, unless you can trade, you will not be getting it up fully evolved. Even then, you have to wait until you get Rock Climb, because the Protector is attainable to Rock Climb. While it can work as a Rhydon, you have to understand what you'll be up against as a Ground Rock type. That's a lot of weaknesses you've got to deal with, especially Grass and Water. Azuro is in the zoo and has the second lowest base stat total in the game, behind Sunkern. Only reason for it to get it is Charm on an Azumarill. Otherwise, not really worth it. At least you may not have to breed Meryl for it. If you also evolve female Azurill, there's a 33% chance it will become a male when evolved. Basically, it grows up. Next up is Cacnea. It's supposed to be a mixed attacker, but it learns more physical attacks and special attacks. Not only that, but it's really slow and shares the same type of shift tree once evolved. Speaking of which, Cactus can be found as well, but you have to wait longer to get one. While Cacnea needs 20 days. Its level up moves are also pretty weak. Seriously, the best move it can learn is Sucker Punch, which is desperately needed with its bad speed. Seed Bomb will require breeding or tutoring, and its best grass moves leveling up are Needle Arm. Yeah, just Needle Arm. Honestly, I think Cacturne is worse than Shiftry, but it could still work since it hits pretty hard. Now let's turn over around to the Torkoal Force. Get it? Torque? Anyways, it's a physical tank, but it's pure fire type. It's even stronger at tanking with Iron Defense and Curse right from the start. Unlike most tanks, Torkoal can at least attack decently well too, so it can use Flamethrower and Earthquake for coverage. Sadly, that's where the positives end. Stealth Rock, low speed, and lack of good recovery makes it less useful as tanking. Fire types are also not known for tanking because of its three common weaknesses: ground, water, and rock. Those weaknesses may be bad, but I think Torkoal can at least fit in the team. Don't worry, Torkoal. Wait until Generation 7 when it gets a certain ability you all want to see. Now we have Samus Aron. Man, see what I did there, guys? Anyways, first things first, get Rockhead. Next, Physical Special Spell allows it to use some darn good physical attacks. Now, as much as I love this family, there are some big issues that make it not useful in this game. All it learns through level up are Steel and Normal type moves, and Mud Slap. So you're most likely going to use TMs from this Pokemon unless you really want to stick with it, as it is. Next, its typing is both a blessing and a curse. Tons of resistances, but some big weaknesses, ground and fighting, so it's tough to use, huh? Probopass feel worse now? Finally, Head Smash breeding is, and this is a really big disappointing one, Head Smash to breeding, which is amazing with Rockhead. Didn't I say about the same thing at Relicanth? Yeah, I did. Except, Relicanth took what, level 78 to get Rock's Head Smash and has a low chance of being a female, while Aron needs it for breeding? Yeah. While Aggron could still work, these negatives can make it worse than you think. Oh, and Laron is found here too. You can choose who to catch, but honestly, I don't know. It's up to you. Maybe one is better at shiny hunting than the other, or save yourself trouble. And now, here comes the seal of approval. It's basically a better Dugong once evolved, ready to evolve in 2 levels as well. It's solid in general, but it's not as unique as other water and ice types. I mean, its type is pretty bad for tanking, and it doesn't learn much else, other than Earthquake and Crunch, to name a few. It also has Ice Ball as a signature move in this generation, which is basically an ice type rollout. Sealeo can also be found too, but you have to wait 80 days for it to be found, while Steel has 40 days to wait. It can definitely be useful, but it won't be too diverse at what it does. Vigoroth is now awake. Alright, ability that will turn into Truant once evolved, which sucks, strong stats, and improved move pool. However, it takes 60 days to encounter one, so don't catch it here. Just catch a Slackoth at Route 25, raise it, and bam! Slacking is hours compared to 60 days of the Vigoroth. And now for probably the worst of the waiting category Pokemon that take days, Gible. We all know Garchomp. In range of fully evolving once caught, beautiful stats of fully evolved, strong move pool, and known for sweeping teams with Swords Dance. Despite these excellent positives, I can't recommend it. So, how many days does it take to get a Gible, you ask? Is it 60, 70, 80, 100 days? That's about 3.5 months you'll have to wait just to get one. There's legit no reason why anyone should wait this long just for a Gible. Honestly, just transfer one from Diamond or Pearl Platinum and register it in your Pokédex, because waiting that long is so stupid. Why do they have to do this? At least other Pokemon have evolutions available here or don't take as long to show up as Gible, but Gible has none of these options. You cannot find Gabai anywhere. You can only find Gible here. I love Garchomp, but this is probably its worst appearance in any game. Even Black and White 2, you have to wait till a post-game to get a Gible, but you know, you get a shiny at least. Oh, just Black 2, I mean. Now that I feel bad for insulting a great Pokemon, let's see if Corphish can make up for it. When I ask for people what Pokemon has benefited from the split the most, Crawdon is most people's first answer. Not sure why Crawdon is the first choice, but it's certainly better than ever. Crunch and Crabhammer are good stabs now, and Swords Dance to increase damage output, but it has the same issues as Cacturne with its speed and defenses. I can forget Crawdon for having a better type than Cacturne though, so it can definitely work. Maybe you'll even enjoy its new uses. It could work, and it's not awful at all anymore. Pachirisu may be famous for the 2014 VGC finals, but here in single player, it's trash. Its stats are really bad, weak move pool, and the only moves it can take advantage offensively are Super Fang, U-turn, and maybe Discharge for paralysis. Charm is probably the only good thing about it, to be honest, but the negatives outweigh the positives. And Pickup is a really good early game ability, but both abilities don't do anything in battle. And all you're left with now is a below average electric type that can't even tank well with little defensive moves. Yeah, Pachirisu is trash. Like, it's bad. Really bad. Bagon, and let me just say, the same issues with Gible apply here. Strong stats, incredible move pool, and Rocket eventually turns into Intimidate, but guess how many days it'll take to get one? Unlike Gible, this one takes 110 days. Almost 4 months. Thankfully, Shelgon is available here too, but it takes 70 days. A little over 2 months. I really feel bad for these two dragons. They are so strong, but it takes unnecessarily too long to obtain these guys. But hey, at least Shogun has a better off than Gible. Spoopy Shuppet time. It's a bit strange for a ghost type. Other than its attack stat, its other stats are pretty weak. Shadow Sneak, Shadow Claw, and Sucker Punch are solid moves for it offensively, but that's almost about it because it learns some good special attacks that aren't as useful on Bayonet itself like Thunderbolt. Bayonet can also be found here too, but needs 30 days while Shuppet needs 20. Bayonet is best at suiciding with Trick Room to outspeed next turn and use Destiny Bond. Too bad it requires breeding to get Destiny Bond. Bayonet isn't bad, but there are honestly better ghost sets you can use than Bayonet. One coming up soon. Instead, read Bayonet's Pokédex entry because it's very scary. Bronzong rings the bell next, and it's simple. Don't go for it. Bronzong requires 110 days, while Bronzong is available with Sinnoh Sound. Just catch one that way, evolve it, and then you'll have your Bronzong in no time. I honestly don't get why Bronzong takes this long to appear. I won't question it anymore as long as we can avoid this process. And you too. Because legit, there's no reason why anyone should wait that long unless you really want a shiny Hunter Bronzong, but you're probably going to fail because of its low catch rate. An echo from Chimecho is now heard. Chingling is also available through Sinnoh Stone, but unlike Bronzong, Chimecho takes no days for it to appear. That being said, Chimecho is still mediocre. It may not be rare like other games, but it's just a levitating psychic type with mediocre stats. There are many better psychic types out there. Even Bronzong, who we just went over, is better. Just don't go for it unless you want it because you like it that much, or maybe you just want to try something out new. I just can't really defend Chimecho much, honestly. If they're Steel type, then maybe. Beneath Damascus, Duskull. And man, do I love Duskull. It may be weak, but once evolved, man, is it great. Duskulls can be also found here too, but it takes 20 days while Duskull takes 0. Duskulls is honestly good enough to be used in any team that needs a tank. Elemental punches through heart scales, amazing defensive stats, and while I wish it kept Levitate, pressure isn't bad on a tank like Dusclops. Although its offensive stats are quite bad. If you can trade to get Dusknoir, then yeah. And that's where you get your offensive moves paid off. Because it gets like a huge attack stat now, at least 100 anyway. Also, this is the last game Dusknoir is good before Dusclops outclasses it in the next generation thanks to Eviolite. So, if you want a Dusknoir, this and Diamond and Pearl Platinum are probably the best time you're ever going to get to use them. Definitely worth using, even if you can't trade, because Dusclops is that good. It floats! It floats! It's Floatzel! Everything I said about Buizel applies here. It's not a bulky water type, but rather a fast physical attacker with sadly not many moves to take advantage of. Waterfall, Ice Fang, Crunch, and Iron Tail are some of the better moves. Not great, but can work. A hop, skip, and now a jump pluff. Fast setup Pokemon that can flick status moves. Already went over this family twice, and it's still not great in single player. Only get it if you don't want to raise a Hoppet. Seviper. Totally the evolution of Arbok. Unlike most poison types, the Viper has a good attacking stat and some diversity in its moves like Flamethrower, Crunch, and Earthquake. Like, I didn't even know it can even learn those moves. Otherwise, it's pretty frail, and that's not good for poison types, since they're usually tanky and are only strong against one type themselves, against grass. Could work, but it's not everyone's first choice for poison types, surprisingly. Not surprisingly, everyone knows it. Speaking of poison types, our bro Krogunk is up, and make sure to get Dry Skin first. Now, Poison Jab and Sucker Punch aren't hard to get, but Revenge is the only fighting type move it learns by leveling up, and its defenses are pretty weak. Otherwise, Focus Punch Substitute could work to your benefit with Toxicroak. But if you want greater damage output, Life Orb in the Rain will cancel Life Orb's damage with Dry Skin. But really, I think it can still work as a solid offensive Pokemon. You might like it, even if its typing, well, is a bit not so great at tanking with a quad weakness to Psychic especially. But who knows? You might like Krogunk. Everyone loves Krogunk in the anime thanks to Brock. And maybe Toxicroak will finally be a Pokemon you could try out. Emi Roselia. Definitely possible to get a shiny stone before going to Kanto. So you can evolve Roserade much earlier than you think. Roserade is great. Sludge Bomb and Giga Drain are solid options for stab. Shadow Ball for coverage. And the Synthesis to recover HP. Natural Cure is also good when you have a status problem. Definitely recommended if you can trade. Or not trade, I'm an idiot. You can, if you can, get one, then boom. I almost forgot Barboach when creating these bios. I went over Wish Cache a while ago, and if you don't want to wait for a Swarm Wish Cache, here's Barboach at higher levels with no time to wait. Nothing special other than learning Earthquake to level up and into Water Ground. Want a Skorupi? It's yours, my friend, as long as you have enough rupees. Anyways, it has Sniper, it can get Cross Chop, but not Cross Chop, Cross Poison now also can get Cross Chop, but needs breeding to get Night Slash. That being said, Drapion becomes Dark Poison with only one weakness, Ground. Swords Dance or Acupressure are also good options to increase its power. Scopelands is only at the Battle Frontier, so it can't raise its crit chance until then. Executor is also available there, sadly. You're most of the time going to roll the die for a crit with this one, but hey, better to take chances with this guy than anyone else, even Horsey and Octillery. Medicham is next. Pure Power doubles attack, but High Jump Kick and Elemental Punches for coverage are available once caught. But Psycho Cut and Fake Out are only available through breeding. Maybe give it Choice Scarf to likely outspeed since it's not the fastest thing in the world. It's decent but loses points for lack of good psychic moves without breeding. Breloom of the Doom is an incredible physical attacker with solid coverage and Mach Punch for priority. Poison Heal with Toxic Orb is also great to prevent status inflictors, and Resistance to Stealth Rock is great to have for a grass type like Breloom. However, I wouldn't catch it since it misses out on Spore. Shroomish is available in Viridian Forest at low levels, but Spore is absolutely worth getting on Breloom. And it also takes a couple days to get Breloom. So honestly, just go for Shroomish or level it up to get Spore. Boom. Breloom. Here comes the Soul Rock, and it's mediocre. Since it's the sun, of course it's going to learn Solar Beam, but its special attack is pretty bad. Rock Slide from the start, but Zen Headbutt through Battle Frontier. It also learns Heal Block, Embargo, and Cosmic Power, which isn't going to appeal to everybody since it's very odd for a Pokemon like Soul Rock. Levitate is the only interesting thing about it, since it eliminates a weakness of its, and otherwise, not really special. Not special. And it's not even that good. Sailor Lunatone is a special-oriented Soul Rock that learns more physical moves, including Psychic, but its only special rock move, Ancient Power, is also locked behind Battle Frontier tutoring. Both of these Pokemon just don't impress much. Anybody. Maybe you might like them, but most people are going to pass on these guys just because of how lame they are in terms of their moves. They're about as mediocre as Chimecho as well. For some reason though, Lunatone takes 0 days to show up while Solrock takes 30. At least if you want to narrow down between these two guys, you might pick Lunatone first because of that. Really, there's no reason to get these guys in my opinion. Metang appears 30 days, but its pre-evolution appears after 70 days. I honestly don't get why it's like that for the most Pokemon here, but we can't do anything about it. If you want Metagross without trading, or you want more Metagross without breeding, I guess you can wait a month for Metang. It's in range of learning Meteor Mash at level 48, so I'd wait until then to get evolved. Then you'll have to wait. Then you'll get your powerful Metagross that you wanted. Steven's trade is honestly just a better way to obtain his family than going to the Safari Zone. Keep in mind these guys have a catch rate of 3, same as most legendaries, and Safari Balls has the same catch rate multiplier as a Great Ball. Beldum and Tang in this game are probably the hardest Pokemon to shiny hunt, unless you breed or you can't even get a shiny when trading, I think. No one ever talks about it since because of how stupid it is to obtain it, but honestly, I would not catch these two even if you wanted to breed or just trade. Simple. Just get the Beldum from Steven. Second last is the Hungry Hippopotas. Earthquake and Crunch from the start. Elemental Fangs once evolved. Rock Slide through TM, and it's good in the physical stats. While Sandstream is great for Sandstorm teams, it's bad for creating a diverse team. I said all the same issues with Tyranitar before, and I know I used one right here, and I have one in this Let's Play, but just know that what you're getting into with Hippowdon. But if you can ignore it, Hippowdon might impress you a bit. And finally, we have Trapinch. So let me get the worst about this family. Level up moves. Trapinch learns Crunch and Dig from the start, and learns Earth Power and Earthquake at levels 65 and 73 respectively. And only as a Trapinch. If you don't want to wait to use a move tutor or your TM to get Earthquake, then this is your only way of getting good ground stabs without TMs or anything like that. If not, then save yourself the trouble by catching out my Baoba, which you can find, use your Earthquake TM and your U-turn TM, fully evolve at a level 1 level, use a Heart Skill to get Dragon Claw or teach a Draco Meteor, and boom! Flygon will be ready to join your team. Also, Vibrava takes 20 days, while Trapinch takes 30. So honestly, I don't really care. Just take the Vibrava. Flygon is not the best Dragon type, but it's still good at what it does. I just hate how Trapinch learns good moves at stupidly high levels. And that is all the Pokemon you can find. Alright, future me, have fun editing this video. And also should mention that these Pokemon are found in different areas. I just didn't want to bother to go where you can find these guys. But you have to play specific objects and different areas to get these Pokemon. That being said, this is Ludicolo15. See you guys next time for another episode of Pokemon HeartGold. We're going to go to the Battle Frontier most likely. And I need a rest after that whole bioweapon. See you all next time. I need a break from this badly again. Later.